What is up, meal prepping family? It's Bobby, and you guys loved our keto budget meal prep so much from 2 weeks ago that you want to see more keto. So today we are going to hook you up with comfort keto meal prep that is perfect for bulking and shredding, high fat, high calories, high protein, but low carb, because we're doing a good old Southern comfort dinner meal prep, y'all. So I hope you guys are ready for pork chop meal prep. Ricotta cheese and herb stuffed pork chops, breaded, pan-fried, and smothered in a country sausage gravy, and served with charred green beans with bacon and pecans. So here's the deal. If you're looking for the best meal prepping channel on YouTube, click that subscribe, my friends. Desi and I are rocking out new videos every Friday morning, and we would love for you to join the Flav City community. All right, before we get going on these monster bone-in pork chops, we have to make the ricotta filling. So I'm gonna push these aside and then grab a bowl that has just over half a cup of whole milk ricotta. Last week, a few of you guys were upset that zesting a citrus was not included in my 10 ingredient meal prepping, so I'm gonna make up for that by zesting half a lemon into the bowl with the ricotta cheese. Add some freshly chopped parsley, a quarter teaspoon of salt, and a couple cracks of black pepper. And then mix it up very well. And now let's get back to these chops. I have 5 bone-in, thick cut pork chops in front of me. They were on sale at the market, so big score for me. The thicker, the better, because these are gonna roast in the oven after we pan fry them. And the thicker they are, the more room there is to stuff all that delicious ricotta cheese in there. So go ahead and take your knife, and then once the knife is in, make sure you carve all the way around to make a nice big pocket for the filling to sit in. Then take a heaping tablespoon of the ricotta filling and put it inside the pocket, and make sure you equally disperse it all throughout the inside of the pork chop. All right, next season the pork chops with a generous pinch of salt and some black pepper. Flip the pork chops over and do a little more salt and pepper. All right, pork chops are stuffed to the gills with goodness. Now we have to move on to the dredging part. So in this bowl right here, I have 2 eggs with a tablespoon of water that I whisked. And in this bowl, I have 1 cup of almond flour. So traditionally, when you're frying pork chops, you would use flour. That's way too carb heavy, so we're using low carb, keto-friendly almond flour, but I do want to season it just like I would all-purpose flour if I was frying pork chops. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a quarter teaspoon of salt, and a few cracks of black pepper. And then give that a mix up. Okay, for the dredging sequence, first we take a chop, we dip it in the eggs, thoroughly coat it on all sides, then make sure you shake off any excess, and then straight into the almond flour, and then pack it down. I'm also preheating some oil back there over medium heat. As soon as this hits the hot oil, it's gonna get golden brown, and you won't even tell that it's almond flour. You'll think it's a good old Southern fried pork chop using all-purpose flour, I'm telling you. Shake off any excess, and then move it to a sheet pan that has a rack over it. Isn't that beautiful? Now here's the deal. If you don't have thick cut pork chops, or you wanna make this recipe just a little bit easier, buy thin cut pork chops, skip the ricotta filling, and just do the dredge. Not only is it easier, but it's gonna cook up much quicker because thin cut pork chops can pan fry for like 2 minutes per side, and then they're done. Press it into the seasoned almond flour, shake it off, and then move it to the sheet tray. All right. Hands are washed, and that leads us to this week's trivia question. I know you guys were waiting for it. Pork chops, they're breaded now. Do I wanna hurry up and get them in the oil and fry them now? Or do I wanna push them to the side for maybe 15, 20 minutes? Leave a comment below, let me know why. In the meantime, we can get going on the country sausage gravy. I'm preheating a medium-sized pan over medium-high heat. And as soon as this is done, we're gonna pour this over the top of our crispy pork chops, and it is gonna be some seriously epic keto comfort food. I do wanna drizzle in a teaspoon of oil to the pan, and then go in with just under half a pound of spicy Italian sausage. I like using this kind of sausage because it has red pepper flakes, it has fennel seeds, it has oregano. It's very aggressively seasoned. All right, the sausage has been cooking for about 5 minutes. Check it out. I love when it gets nice and golden and crispy on the outside, and a lot of the fat has kind of rendered out into the pan. Now I'm gonna turn the heat down to medium, and we're gonna use some good old heavy cream. Just pour that in. Let's start with 3/4 of a cup, and then go in with a 1/4 cup of low sodium chicken stock. All right, I wanna simmer that very gently for about 8 to 10 minutes until it thickens up. I'm gonna switch the pans here, because while that's doing its thing, I wanna get going on the crispy bacon for the green beans later on. We're doing pork 3 ways, by the way. We're doing sausage, bacon, and pork chops. So right here, I have about 1/4 pound of thick cut bacon that I cut into cubes. I'm gonna add that to my cast iron pan and then start to cook it over medium heat. I wanna give the bacon a head start because it actually takes a good 10 to 15 minutes to properly render out the fat of bacon and make it super crispy. So you do not wanna rush that process. All right, let's let that do its thing. We'll let the sauce do its thing. We'll get to frying pork chops in just a minute. All right, you guys, let's get on to frying some pork chops. I have a pan with some grapeseed oil here. I'm heating that over medium heat. Now, let's get to the answer to the trivia question. If you said wait 15 to 20 minutes, you are correct. Because by waiting, you give the crust a chance to really stick to the pork chops, and it's gonna make the crust that much crispier. So I'll be interested to see how many of you guys got it, because last week's trivia was way too easy and 99.9 of you got it right. All right, just to make sure the oil is the right temperature, you could drop a few crumbs of almond flour in there, or you can take your infrared thermometer that I got on Amazon and make sure that it's around 350 to 360. Perfect. So carefully lower the pork chop into the oil, and I'm only gonna do 2 at a time here. Oh, you okay? Sorry.
Got my hand.
The oil just got desi, oh my gosh. All right, so let those bubble away, and if you don't want the oil to splatter on your wife, do yourself a favor and get a splatter guard and throw that down. I'm gonna let them go for about 2 to 3 minutes on that side until it's nice and golden, and then I'll flip it. Let's check on the bacon. It's been about 12 minutes, and you can see a lot of the fat has rendered out, and the bacon is really crispy. Let's kill the heat on the pan, and then get the bacon out, but leave the fat in the pan. And then let's check on the gravy. Perfect, it's nice and thick. Everything has reduced. And then you know it's ready when you can kind of draw a line in the pan, and the sauce holds that. Let's flip the pork chops. Perfect, you guys. Golden brown and nice and crusty. Let those go another 3 to 4 minutes. All right, let's get these pork chops out of the pan. Look at that crust on both sides, you guys. I love that. Those chops are out. Let's put the next set of chops in. And make sure you're preheating your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And don't worry that I'm putting the pork chops back onto the raw sheet tray, because it's still raw inside and it's gonna finish cooking in the oven. All right, last of the pork chops is out. Now they go into a 400 degree oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. All right, let's finish up the charred green beans. We already have all that yummy bacon fat in the pan. I'm preheating it over medium-high heat, and all I wanna do is char the green beans, but I'm actually not using green beans. I'm using these haricots verts. I get them from Trader Joe's. They're French green beans. They're a little more tender, and the ends are already snipped for you. So add those to the pan. I have 1 pound total. So I'm just gonna cook those for about 7 to 8 minutes until they're nice and charred on the outside. We'll throw some pecans in there, some lemon zest, and call it a day. All right, you guys, 11 minutes exactly. That is a heavy pan of goodness. Check out these pork chops. Oh, they're sizzling, they're golden brown, they're cooked through. Check out the green beans too. I like it when everything kind of comes together, right? Look at the color on these. I said charred green beans, right? Look how they're nice and blistered in spots. That's exactly what I want to see. Now, if you think these green beans charred in bacon fat cannot get any better, you're wrong, because we're going back into the pan with the crispy bacon. Gonna shake in a couple tablespoons of chopped pecans, a little bit of lemon zest, and squeeze over a little bit of juice, then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We add the salt at the end because salt pulls out moisture, and I wanted the green beans to get charred. If I put that in the beginning, they wouldn't. They would have pulled out the moisture and boiled. Less talking, more eating. Let's plate this dish. Let's take one of these pork chops and cut it in half. Oh, you guys, look at that goodness. The ricotta is flecked with that beautiful lemon zest and herbs, and the chops are so darn juicy. Let's put that on a plate. Scoop down a nice amount of charred green beans, and don't forget the pecans and the bacon on top. And then spoon over a healthy amount of country sausage gravy all over the top of those pork chops, and be generous. And there it is, you guys. Keto comfort food done right. I've probably never made such a decadent dish on my channel before, but a bunch of you guys have been asking for like an epic cheat day meal. This is it. I'm going in for a bite of this ASAP. And I need some of that sausage too. It's insane. And it's so good. A little bit of green beans. Okay, the pork chops are incredibly juicy. The stuffing is creamy and citrusy. The topping is crunchy, but this salty, meaty sausage gravy on top is everything. The green beans are fresh, they're vibrant, they have that smoky charred flavor, more bacon, little crunch from the pecans. You guys, do yourself a favor, make this recipe, tag me on social media when you do. The recipe is down below in the description box. When you click on the recipe link, it takes you to my website. The heating, the storage, all those information is there. The macros are down below in the description box. Hook me up, share this video. Subscribe to my channel. If you want to see 2 more pretty darn epic keto meal preps, click on the video below me. Let me know also if you want to see more keto videos in the near future. But these pork chops are calling Desi in my name, so we'll see you soon. Until then, #keep on cooking. Peace.